Let me ask you a question. If this war between Iran and Israel, of course, now US has really entered. What if this war gets worse? What if from this whole little talk of drop one here, drop five, 10, and it goes into a full-blown thing? Of course, typically there is going to be a panic. So I just have to come up with this conversation we're going to have so that you're going to learn from it. So when there is panic, do you also panic or do you see some level of opportunity for you to play in? So hi everybody, welcome to today's video, which is going to be very interesting. USA bombed Iran. So let's get into this conversation. Of course, you should know that if you're playing in the US stock market, of course, I play both in the US stock market and the Nigerian stock market. So for the US stock market, I'm giving this video full emphasis on the US stock market because a lot of money is going to be made. As much as most people like me, we do not like war. But the thing is that when war happens, so many things also happen in the stock market. So I want you to keep your mind in that same situation so that you see where you can actually find some opportunities. So the question is typically oil prices will go up, stocks are going to drop, it's going to tank. Crypto is currently tanking. What will be your strategy? Will you panic and sell all your stocks? Will you hold? This week we are entering is going to look like a storm. I have no idea. But in the course of this video, we're going to be learning a lot. So let's get started. We're going to have these updates. We're going to look at the fear and greed index. We're going to look at the US that bombarded Iran. We're going to look at the crypto that dropped, what next to do, and I will share my mega plan of profiting from Israel to Iran crisis. So if you're ready and excited for this type of video, let's get started. Like I said, fear always drives people to do crazy things. You look at this guy, he's just thinking and wondering what's going to happen next. And most people find themselves in this situation and they notice that the stocks they bought, especially for new investors, and the stock is dropping. And the first thing they do is that they just rush and start selling. So we're going to look at the SPY 500 and look at the last dip that happened and the way it ran up back to 600 plus. So today's video, I will not be predicting the next move because nobody can. Everybody's just going to be guessing. But I want you to prepare. I don't like to predict or guess. It's strictly gambling. What I rather love to do is I prepare myself, which I do with my VIP community members, and we come up with a great strategy. So we don't really chase headlines, and that's exactly what we do. So if you're ready for this kind of information, let's get into the next conversation. All right, so you can see from this CNBC, open your phone, go to Google and type CNBC. You're going to see some of this news. So this is the recent, you can see the date, June 22nd, Sunday. So you can see here, US enters war between Israel and Iran. We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordow, Natanz, and Efshan. Efhan. Sorry in case I don't pronounce it well. So this is Donald Trump speaking on Saturday night. And honestly, these were hit with massive bombs. And Trump's decision to join this war against Iran sharply escalates the conflict and appears to push any diplomatic solution out of reach. Of course, when this happens, you should understand that so many things. So this is actually the video. If you have time, you can watch it. This is when he was addressing the US on the bombing of Iran. So this has happened. Unfortunately, it has happened. And let's look at the fear and greed index. This is one tool I use. So when Warren Buffett said, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. Currently, we're in the neutral. So I'm sure this is going to move the moment stock market opens on Monday. It's probably going to get into the fear. And the moment it starts getting into the fear, that's when I start buying my stocks. When we get into the greed side, as of last week, we were on the greed side and I was taking profits alongside with my community members. So another thing I want you to understand is let's look at the last 30 years, okay? The last 30 years, let's look at this. This is a historical chart of Dow Jones. The last 30 years, you can see that as much as we have had 70 wars, a tech bubble, two global recessions, pandemics, political chaos, look at this. As much as we've been having all those crazy moments, wars and everything, Dow Jones has been moving from 10,000 to 12,000, dropped to 7, and this was a good opportunity. Moved up again to 17, dropped to 16, moved up to 24, moved up to 27, dropped to 21, took off again to 35, dropped to 32, and we are up here. So this is for Dow Jones. Let's look at the S&P 500, the last 30 years, okay? The last 30 years. So when you come here, you just pick the 30. You can see that even in the last 30 years, with all I have mentioned, it has gone up to 1,400, dropped to 800, moved up to 1,002, dropped again to 800, 700, and it's been going up. So this has really returned like 7 times the value, like the money, people have been making money. So if someone has probably invested here in 1996 or in 2000 and the person did not touch his money, look at where the person will be now. Can you see that? So in the midst of everything and people think market is going to sell off and collapse, it's been going up in the long run. So if you're a long-term person, it's going to pay you very, very well. So let's get back into let's look at the stock markets and look at what's going on with Bitcoin. Can you see this? Look at Bitcoin's move the last since last week. From 110,000, we have dropped from 110,000 down to 99. Let me go to the 5 minutes. You see how horrible this drop has been. Look at this. Even from 102, the moment this happened last night, look at this massive drop. And it tried to recover for where? Dropped again and dropped again. So all our Bitcoin stocks, when market opens, let me look at CleanSpark. Let's look at CleanSpark. You can see that CleanSpark is going to drop. It's currently around 9. I'm going to see this, we'll definitely see this stock get into the 8.8, 8.5, or probably $8, and some other Bitcoin stocks. So this is what has happened. Now let's look at SPY that I also mentioned to us. Let's look at SPY. So look at this SPY. Let me go to the daily time frame. So look at this. Look at the last drop from 613, 609. It dropped to 480. And this was a perfect dip. Those that got in here were able to make a lot of money. And we also touched 603. So of course, this is going to dip. Nobody knows how long it's going to dip and how far it's going to dip, but it is good that we prepare. I'm sure you're actually enjoying these conversations I'm having. So, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia, and this is my channel. I talk about all things personal finance. So, today we're focusing on the US stock market and the effect that the war in Iran versus Israel is taking a toll on. So, subscribe to the channel for more of this kind of information. So, here I'm going to talk about most people see this situation and they start selling their stocks, and that's because they're not properly informed. They don't understand that when they move their money out from the stocks and get it into another place, the time you're coming back, the stock has dipped and has gone up. So you have actually wasted an opportunity that would have compounded your money, because you're going to see stocks go to a higher price. So personally, even in the midst of this whole war scenario that is going on, that is going to affect the stock markets, look out for the stocks that will be greatly impacted. Oil stocks are going to go up. So if you have any oil stock in your portfolio, if you had bought a lot on Friday, or probably when the market opens, is going to run because of this situation. So in the midst of the whole pandemic, the midst of the whole global COVID situation that we have survived, we have seen things go back to normalcy. So I just want you to know that everything is still going to go back. The bulls are going to rise back. And I have personally mastered how to survive the crash, and because I know that the recovery is going to be super fast. So stick to your strategy and definitely grow your money. I want to talk about my strategy. Of course, the tech stocks, when I mean tech stocks, I mean like Tesla, Google, Palantir, Meta, Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. These kind of stocks are usually the first to get hit. When you see them, and when they get hit, I'm very happy because once I see them in the casualty area, I just go there. It's like I'm going to shop on discount. So when I see those dips, I'm very excited. Imagine Nvidia that is at 140 something dropping back to 100. This is your opportunity. So I want you to position yourself instead of timing the market, which is what a lot of people are trying to do. So I want you to strategize, get yourself together, and I'm going to share three things that we'll be doing in the community. The first thing we're going to do is that since last week we've been taking profit. There's a strategy I use that I teach in my community called profit taking. We take out profit, so we allow the stock to run. Even if the stock drops back, we have opportunity to buy them back again. So when we have this kind of opportunity, you don't need to time the market. All you need to do is just to position yourself. That's all you need. The second strategy we are using is when we are selling, we are keeping the profit and waiting for perfect opportunity. We don't just take out the money and start putting. We use it and buy other stocks that are on short-term plan, and we look out for opportunities when market is dropping. Because see, the cheap can always get cheaper. That stock you're eyeing can also get cheaper. The third thing we are doing is that we can also buy BS stocks. There are stocks that do well in crash moments. So we are buying those stocks and we look out for market direction. So this week we are comfortably looking out and going to grab some opportunities in the market. Now I'm going to mention the three stocks that we are going to be looking at, which I want to also keep on your own radar. Meanwhile, I want you to join our community so you don't have to second guess yourself and avoid costly mistakes. This is one of the times that people make mistakes, and before they realize it, they have missed one of the best opportunities in the stock market. So it's time for you to build real wealth. Learn when to buy, learn when to sell, learn when to take your profit, and learn how to reinvest your dividends. So if you found this type of video helpful, drop your questions in the comments. But meanwhile, I want to go back to the chat to show you three stocks you should keep under your radar this week. Okay, so this is the first one, Coinbase. Coinbase has been absolutely amazing. Look at this move from 245 to 310. We have honestly enjoyed this stock. We got the ETF of this stock somewhere around $8-10, and it ran to 36. That is three times the value of your money just from April to June. And this is what I call waiting for opportunities to happen. So when you see this particular stock drop back into this 250 zone, 230 zone, or even lower, you should grab it with your hands and feet. Of course, this is CleanSpark. CleanSpark has been having a sort of a sideway move. Look at this. So right now, I'm very sure that when the market will open, we're probably going to drop to somewhere here. Once we break this 8.46 range, this is a critical support area. Once we break it, then we're heading to 774. And if we cannot hold it, we are going back to 645. So imagine getting this stock at 6 or even 7 and you sell it at 11, meaning you have made almost 50% of your money in a short period. So look at this. This was April and this was May. Just a matter of 30 days and you've made a lot of money. So the third stock I'm going to mention is, of course, because it's one of my favorite stocks. So I'm always looking out for any dip. I will grab it, and it is Palantir. It is Palantir. So this stock has been absolutely amazing. The last dip, it came down to 66, even though we started buying it at 80. But even if you got at 80, from 80 to 140, can you see that you've made more than half of your money? So when people tell me when is the perfect, no, have a range. When you buy within the range, you're going to be okay. So this particular stock, just keep an eye. Any drop from 144 and it breaks this 122, is heading back to 109 range. So this is a critical support area. If it breaks 120, we are heading down to 109, and if we break 109, of course we are going down to 97. And if this happens, you should be very happy that you're going to do that. So you join the community. These are some of the things that we do. I share with them the prices I'm getting the stocks, when they should buy, when to take profit. This we've been taking profit from 100, 120, 130, and 144. So now, even if the stock pulls back, we've not lost anything. This is why you should be in the community.